Hey, what's going on? Wednesday morning, and Tori and I are back with our Just Chatting. And the topic of the day would be negative programming. Have
Yeah.
you been negatively programmed? And this is actually kind of an interesting topic. I did it was a while ago. I did a Facebook Live um, about being negatively programmed and how to change it. And I had some doofus get on there. It it was kind of funny. I got a kick out of it. So if any of you have done something on Facebook and then you have, you're always going to have haters. You have people who that they wake up every day and they decide I'm going to find something on Facebook and I am just going to absolutely rake it over the coals. Why? Because I have nothing else better to do. Remember, misery loves company. And this guy went down. It was funny. It must have been like 8 paragraphs worth of stuff. So it's interesting. You know, you talk about negative programming. It's like it could come from your a teacher from back in the day, from someone else back in the day, and this isn't this isn't a new concept. This is something that's been around for a long time. I've read some books, listened to some other audio books, and this has been something that authors have been talking about, from the 60s and 70s. And it's, well, I'm never going to amount to anything because my one homeroom teacher told me that I'm just not smart enough to do it. So now you got it in your head you're not smart enough to do it. That's because someone told you that. Is that the truth? No, not really. When everyone says if you put your mind to something, go ahead and do it. So this guy gets on here, and it was a riot, and it's guys like this that just keep us in business, for lack of a better term. It's interesting. Guy gets on and he go first of all called me a narcissist. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Um, and of course the former cop in me, I look up this guy's profile. Maybe he has a PhD in bullshit. I don't know. Um, Nothing. And I started to see a trend with if someone gets on and starts commenting negatively about your post and it's going to hinder you from doing it, hold on just a second, look them up. Look them up and see exactly what they got going on. Because most of the time they're going to have a sanitized profile because, oh, they don't want anyone else to know, oh, I can't speak up for myself or let someone know, yeah, I said that about you. They're gonna go ahead and hide behind some sanitized profile, which I found with most of them, which is kind of interesting. Which brings me, I'll get to another story about sanitized profiles. Um,
Just real quick, Mike's Italian, so
yeah,
just
pardon
chatting is
me.
the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I will go from one of you. You may want to have to take notes or get on the chat and bring me, reel me in. So anyway, this guy gets on. He goes, one thing that you need to understand is that just some people are just born to be nothing.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Wow.
wow, holy moly. I'm like, you're the reason why
Yeah.
we do what we do, and it was hilarious. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
I read it and my blood
mm,
pressure went up like a million points. And I was like, you SOB. I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what this guy has. What
yeah.
type of credibility are you bringing to the table?
None.
None. None. And, I was like, okay. I don't even know if I responded to this jackass.
I
But
think you did in a
I,
polite way, but you
I
didn't.
think
You
I
didn't
did.
go into any
I
detail
think
or
I told him
anything.
to go to hell in such a nice way. He was looking forward to the trip. But, um, yeah, there you
Well, and
go.
you got to think too. I mean, when people are in that type of mindset to where they feel they have to belittle other people, it's either one, hit a nerve, maybe hit closer to home than what he appreciated, you know, um, or he was the narcissist and he felt he
Yeah.
knew everything. And it's unfortunate that we have these keyboard warriors that they can't have an adult conversation. Hey, I agree with you on this, but maybe not on this part. And that's us as human beings. We're allowed to have our opinions. We're allowed to have, you know, peaceful conversations and not attack one another. And I think that's where, social media, society, even the media in general, it's become so overwhelming that you see it all the time. And like Mike said, that negative programming, it becomes the norm, because it's
Mhm.
what we see all the time. And it's very unfortunate because we have the ability to make that change. And it's not as difficult as we think it's going to be. You do have to work at it, though. You can't just one and done it. It's something that you have to work on every single day to have that mindset of abundance, of I know I'm going to do this. And it starts with the words we say and the things we think. Those two things. That's where it
Mhm.
starts. And, anxiety, depression, it all starts again with the words we say and the things we
Mhm.
think about ourselves. And if we had a negative childhood, it's like, oh my God, we're getting into the childhood. I actually had somebody
That's
say that to me once when we were at an event. It was the funniest thing. Oh, that's right, childhood trauma. And it's just like people like that. I get it. We're of that generation. You just swallowed it and went on. I totally understand that part of it. And this person was a little bit older than us. Um, but you still have to deal with things. Just because, I have a smile on my face, I could be dealing with something that people don't
Mhm.
know about. I mean, that's the way our generation was or is. You swallow it and you move forward. But there are certain things that you still have to deal with. And if you don't deal with them, they cause more issues to you physically, mentally, emotionally. Everybody's like, oh, we can't get emotional. It has that has been blown out of context. It's like emotional. Oh, you're going to be sitting there crying your eyes out and just blaming everybody. That's not the emotion that we're talking about. We're talking about dealing with that trauma emotion, not just let me sit here and be a victim or, let me just sit here and cry all day. No, it's dealing with that so you can move forward. And it's really unfortunate that people get on the computer, behind their phones and feel that they can say what they want to say and not have consequences to those actions. And we'll put up our training, we'll put up
Yeah.
our experience. We have been through a lot, we've seen a lot, we've helped people through a lot.
Mhm.
So it's not something that we're just willy-nilly throwing out there, because everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is different. So you can't, Mike's journey is even different than my journey. You know, it's not the same. And even though we're in the same household, our journeys are different. So how can you expect somebody, this individual that God knows where he was at, you know, knows the journey and for somebody else. And it's really disheartening that we've detached ourselves so much in retrospect to everything that's going on in the world.
Well, and to actually jump on that a little bit is we we posted we were doing two hypnosis classes. We were doing them online.
Yeah.
One of them was to stop smoking, and the other one was to, and then one in the afternoon was for weight control or weight loss. You don't want to say loss, but that's a whole other type. It's interesting when you
We'll get
talk.
into the
Yeah.
vocabulary of that in a little bit.
So it was interesting. Once again, someone got on Facebook, and this lady gets on there and goes, "You don't need hypnosis to quit smoking. If someone just can't quit cold turkey, I smoked for 50 years and I quit cold turkey. If someone can't quit cold turkey, well, then they just don't have the mental capacity and then they're just stuck with cigarettes. That's what I did." And I went, okay. I stopped cold turkey back in the 90s. Okay. I also knew people when I was growing up who would go to a hypnotist about every 6 to 8 months to stop smoking. They just had to, oh, I'm feeling the cravings coming back. They'd go back and get hypnotized. So I was like, well, good on you for stopping after 50 years of smoking. That's great that you're able to quit cold turkey. Some people can, some people can't, and it's just and then it became that keyboard battle of, well, if they don't have the mental capacity, then they're just oh man, shit, STFU, ma'am. I'll use the acronym because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So then she goes ahead and puts one on. No one needs to get hypnotized in order to lose weight. All you need to do is keto and exercise. Period. Done. I'm like, okay, you've just now negatively programmed people. You've now said that everybody is going to, the only thing you need to do to lose weight or have anything done, you just have to do keto.
Yeah.
That's it. Period. End of subject. Ma'am, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, because everybody's different, everyone's metabolism is different. I knew a guy who, this dude is when I worked in Iraq. This guy was jacked. I mean, he was in his 50s. He was a few years older than me at the time. I was in my 40s. And he tried the key. He goes, I tried to do the straight up keto, clean eating, the whole 9 yards for one rotation. It was like 105 days. And he said he was absolutely miserable. He goes, I look good,
Mm-hmm.
but it was miserable. He goes, there are other, he was a personal trainer too and dietitian. He said, there are other things
Mm-hmm.
out there that work. He goes, keto was just not for me. I felt
Yeah.
miserable. If you are doing something and you absolutely feel miserable for it, then the odds of it being sustainable are going to be very, very limited. Then you're going to get, there comes your negative program. Well, I didn't get the results I wanted. I'm never going to be able to lose my weight. I'm never going to be able to stop smoking. I'm never going to be able to, open my own business, all because of what you're telling yourself or what other people in society have been saying. Now, we have talking about thoughts, because everything comes from what you constantly tell yourself. And you may see, little memes or motivational posts on social media about, watch how you talk to yourself because you are listening.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a lot of sense. So I did a search one time. I was like, we have thoughts. So how many thoughts do we have in a day? And we have about anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts in a day, give or take.
Average. Yeah.
Average. And of those thoughts within that zone, 82 to 85% of those are negative thoughts.
Yep.
So now we have our 12 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. 85% of those are negative.
Mm-hmm.
So you're constantly in that negative loop. Now, of that 85% negative, 90% of those are reoccurring. So you're constantly
rehashing.
Rehashing. Oh, that ain't good. Yep, yeah, it's going to be that kind of day. Yep. Oh, well, this is going to suck. Why do I know it's going to suck? Because it sucked the other day. It's going to suck right now.
And our minds go back to what is familiar.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And it's all you got. And, it is easier said than done. Me to sit here and tell you, oh, just start thinking your positive thoughts and everything's going to flow. It's not that easy. You can think you're positive. Think of something that it doesn't have to be something that happened, earlier today or something yesterday. Think of something that positive that affected you. It could have been a few years ago. Think about that, and then think about something else, and then think about something else. And that is where you can start getting into your more of a positive thought loop, about every 6 seconds.
Well, and I don't think it's not that it's not easy. I think it's just you have to be consistent. And it's one of those where when you start to feel that negative thought coming, just like for me, it's okay, stop. Mind, stop right now. And then you end up going into, okay, so this is where this is going. I don't want to go that direction with that thought. So let me stop it here and let me just reverse it. But it's something that you have to consistently work at. You can't do it once and you're done. You have to continually work at it. So it's not that it's difficult, it's just you have to be consistent. And I think that's something that, even for me, that's something that I have to work on a daily basis. I have to, consciously, it's all about awareness, right? So if you can realize, oh crap, here's that thought that I didn't realize before that's putting me in a bad mood. Let me stop it. Okay, stop. I appreciate, and you have to kind of talk to your mind like it's a different person. I
Mhm.
appreciate what you're trying to do. That's not the direction I want to go. So, let's go on a happier note. Because our mind is here. It's been created to help us and protect us and make sure that we stay alive. We don't have all of the, you know, things trying to kill us like it did back in the caveman times, right? But our programming has never changed. Our environments have, but our programming in our minds haven't. So we have to learn how it works so that way we can better utilize it for what we need it to do. And if we aren't aware of that, how are we supposed to change it? It's we had a conversation the other day, and um you know you were talking about the lady that was saying, oh, nobody needs hypnosis and blah blah blah. Well,
God,
no, they don't.
dumbass.
I mean, they don't. But it's like, if we can get you there faster and get you healing quicker, wouldn't, if somebody gave you a tool and say, hey, this will do the job in a matter of 5 minutes versus 2 days, it's a no-brainer, right? I mean, it's just like, oh, hello. So that's what we do. But, people have this idea of what hypnosis is, and it's something that is natural to us to begin with. Our bodies are already in and out of it regularly. You just don't know it. So it's one of those where people really don't understand. So, of course, they're going to knock it if they've never tried it. And if they've tried it and had a bad hypnotist, that's another thing. If you didn't have, somebody, one, that you really meshed with, that you really understood your situation, or, had a firm grasp on what they were trying to do, because there's so many different modalities out there. And a modality is just ways to conduct hypnosis. And our modality is rapid transformational therapy, created by Marissa Peer. She's been doing this for over 35 years. So it's one of those you have to do your research too. And it's like, you think, oh, it could get overwhelming, but it's one of those where you need to take that time. And by starting first with yourself and those thoughts, just stop them. If it's going to keep leading you down the same path, was it Einstein had a saying, if you do the same thing over and over and over again, but you expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. So let's stop them, stop those thoughts, and turn them around and make them work better for us.
Mm-hmm. So what would be for any of you out there, what is something that you wanted to achieve but you think you are unable to? I mean, I don't want to use the word can't. Can't's
a weakening word.
Weakening word. Oh, I can't do that. And you've already weakened yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a goal? Sit there and think, maybe you want to be that top game streamer. Maybe you want to, open up your own small business. Maybe you want to get that promotion at work. Whatever your goal may be, what is holding you back? And not really like holding you back. What are the thoughts that are keeping you from doing it? Well, and there was one saying is like, are you being led by your butt? Well, I want to do this, but, well, this is my goal. This is where I want to be, but I don't have the education. But I don't think it's going to work. But, so as you see, but is ruling your life. You're being led by your butt.
Yep.
I want to create more content, but, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And I fell into that. As one of those, I want to do this, but I don't think anyone's going to watch it. There we go. But I don't think anyone's going to watch it. I don't think anyone's really going to care. Post your stuff. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do, you want to be I want to be a content creator. I want to get on YouTube. I want to, maybe more on Just Chatting or on games. Go for it.
Yeah. And it's
Yep.
just starting. I mean, the first step to anything is just starting.
Yeah.
The longer you put it off, you're just hurting yourself in the long run because you're afraid of something that might not even be on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It might be so much better than you anticipated. But it's one of those two, you have to do it for yourself, not for everybody else.
Yes.
You have to have that mindset. I can laugh at myself. I mess up all the time. I can laugh at myself. I have no problem with that. And I know other people will as well, which is perfectly okay. But it's one of those, don't take it to heart. We're only human. We make mistakes. If we can learn from those mistakes and move forward, then that's just better and healthier for us. And it'll allow us to move forward faster. So it's one of those where you don't listen to everybody else. I mean, you can get tips and tricks and things like that. That's a little different. That's not what we're saying. But if you think what people are going to say is going to keep you from doing it, you don't know what people are going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you always will have haters. Haters are going to hate. Like
Yeah.
we said in our last video, it's one of those where a lot of times people are so negative to other people because they have trauma that they don't want to deal with, or they've had so much trauma they're kind of set in their ways. They can still change, but it's one of those where if they haven't had the opportunity to get in front of somebody that can show them that change, they're stuck in that way. And it's unfortunate, but people are out there that are like that. But don't worry about those people. They're gonna hate when they're.
What was it? Misery loves company.
Yeah. And as I said, hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
Vishen Lakhiani said that, and how, I mean, I'm sure he got it from somebody else, but it's one of those where it's really powerful, because if you're hurting, you wanna get rid of that pain or that hurt. So you're going to reflect that, or you're going to send that to somebody else, hoping that that'll help get rid of it, when it doesn't, because you have to deal with what's going on inside before you can start to feel that healing, or you can start to heal, period.
And really is what your critic is telling you, is that is that really the truth, or is it something that they're trying to drag you down? Once again, you always hear misery loves company, and I've seen it throughout my various careers. But you'll find there's ones out there that, well, as soon as you start to, I got a good idea, you start to rise up, they're going to want to kind of bring you down. Why?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they just don't want to see you succeed. Oh, well, if you succeed, then where's that going to leave me?
Yeah.
So they try to bring you down. They're already bringing you down to their level. And then you keep thinking, well, you know what? Maybe they're right. I won't be able to, I got this great kind of a business idea that I really want to do, but, Stinky Dinglemeyer over here, my neighbor tells me, oh, it's never going to work, this won't. And then they try to give you, because of this, and this. Well, thank you for your input there, Mr. Dinglemeyer, but I'm still going to go through and give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that, kind of get past. You're going to have the criticism. Then everyone's, have thick skin. Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest part is when you bring up an idea, or you're, hey man, I thought about doing this, and then you're going to have all the naysayers. For me, it was, first of all, I don't know who the hell you think you are to question me, but this is, I'm doing this because of A, B, C, and D, and then blah, 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 blah. The hardest part is to actually just kind of let it roll off your back. You can acknowledge it. Hey, thanks for your input. We're all now dumber for that. But I'm, drive on with what you want to do, because you might have 2 or 3 that are sitting there saying, oh, that's never going to work. That's never going to work. But there may be a couple other people, maybe a little bit outside of your circle, who hears like, hey, I heard you're wanting to do this.
Yeah.
Man, that's an awesome idea because of this, and this. Oh, there you go. You know, don't listen to the you got that circle.
Mhm.
If you have that negative circle, you can start weeding them out. There is nothing in the world that says you have to keep them there. They're just going to keep you in that negative loop most of the time.
Yeah.
So, what's one of your ideas? What is something that you would want to do or been thinking about doing, but you feel like you're being held back? And what is holding you back? What is your, I want to do this. Okay. Write it down.
Mhm.
Write it on paper. And of course, you all hear everybody, oh, journal, write it down. There is something, because I had one client, he said, man, I lay down and at night I cannot keep my mind. I just keep racing. Well, I got to do this tomorrow. I got to do this. I got to make sure I do this. I got to have that. Said, write it down. Put a whiteboard up in your bedroom, or I love whiteboards. If any of you who
See it
get to
behind
know
us.
them, yeah, I got whiteboards all over the
There's
place.
some over here.
Over there.
There's one over here.
If I could have a wall of whiteboards, which you can, I would.
If our house, he
Yeah.
would make our walls in our home nothing but whiteboards.
Yeah, why not? And it's hey, write it down. So it's the act of taking what you're thinking and putting it from pen to paper actually releases it. So now you'll be able to lay down. Oh, I wrote that down. There you go. Oh, there's my checklist. Or here's what I got to get done today. It doesn't matter what order they're in as long as you've written it down.
Yeah.
So what is your goal? What do you want to do? Write it down. I want to do blah. Okay, perfect. What do you need to do to get there?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It's your own thought. This is your goal. Well, what do I need to do to get there? Well, I need to do this, 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 and this. All right. Of those, which one needs to be done first? Which one needs to be done second? What other kind of research do you need to do? And you'll find it by writing it down and chipping away at it little by little. It'll start to slowly come into play.
Yeah.
And don't let the naysayers, because they're out there. We ended up having to deal with one this morning. That's a whole. There's another topic there.
Yeah.
Anyway. So.
Yes, and sometimes you just have to laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just so. It's just like what. No,
and
you have to laugh. You have to laugh it off.
Yeah.
And you can't hold two different feelings at one time. So if you're sad, angry, and you laugh, as hard as it can be, but you keep going, keep laughing, keep laughing, keep laughing,
mm-hmm.
It's going to change your mood. And then it's going to get to where I'm not angry anymore, or I'm not sad anymore. It's like, ugh. And then you can take a deep breath and then, go about your
Mm-hmm.
day. But, like Mike said, we dealt with it this morning, and it's just like, you have to laugh.
You really, you have got to be kidding me. Just the levels at which people will stoop to never cease to amaze. And you'd think, hey, this is 2025.
Yeah.
You would think at some point some people would have evolved mentally
A little bit.
But no, I mean you're
Well,
we're
maturity,
talking
and maturity
and the
level. I mean, it's
maturity.
just-
It's like that was
if you're an adult, let's be an adult.
be an adult.
Don't try to go behind people's backs, and I mean that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. But we just be an adult.
Yeah. Now,
Be an adult.
if you're not being an adult and someone calls you out, you can't sit there and that's mean, you did it. Oh no. Let's stop the passive aggressive shit. You know what? I said something. Yeah, I kind of pissed them off. I had it coming. Okay, cool. And go with it. That's
No.
Yeah.
But I think it's again, it's that negative programming. If people have gotten away with stuff, for so long, that's just a habit. It's a bad habit. As far as negative programming is concerned too, it's one of those where, let's say it started in the childhood, say maybe the parents were busy. They were working all the time because, you needed two jobs. Both parents had to work. You were left alone a lot. You felt that they didn't care. You felt that they, um, weren't great parents. And, maybe that's the case. But at the same time, maybe it was just because that's the only way they knew that they could take care of you. And sometimes it's all about perspective. Now, when you start getting into abuse and things like that, that's a little different. Um, I can provide my story. When I was very little, my biological father was very abusive, and it's something that really affected me that I didn't know about until I actually had a hypnotherapy session. And I was still a happy kid, thanks to my stepdad, who is my dad. you know, Shout out to him. He's amazing. Love him dearly. But he had a struggle, a challenge to help myself and my siblings to turn our perception, because we had a negative um perception of what a dad or what a father was, because of the abuse that we took from our biological father. So he really had a challenge to get us out of that. About a year I think it took me. I used to hide behind my mom's leg, or hide behind my mom, period. And said he would make me go on trips with it, or just to the store or something like that. And he goes, I would get so far over. I mean, I'd get as far to the other side of the vehicle as I possibly could, but it was because of what I went through that I'm assuming that it's going to happen again. So, still had positive men in my life, my grandfather, my uncle, other men in my life, but it always made me very cautious around men. And as I grew up, even though my dad got me out of that, my stepdad got me out of that constant, you know, this is going to be negative, he was able to get me out of that shell. And but there were still times that if I was around certain men, some like that, they talk about the hair that goes up on the back of your neck, something's not right. And there were several, and so I just tried to avoid them, and it was something that took a while. um and it was something that affected me, my um confidence. Even though I was very outgoing and always had a smile on my face, it still affected my confidence. And until, what was it, 3 years ago, it never dawned on me that that was why m- my self-confidence was so low. And to have that aha moment and to realize, holy crap, this had nothing to do with me. My low self-esteem was my perception of, I thought it was me, but in all actuality it was the situation that I went through. So, and what beliefs I put around that, you know, because we expect adults to have our best interest in heart, you know. And then when you have these generational issues that go, it just keeps going, you have that choice to continue that pattern, or you can break that pattern. And fortunately, I really think that it was my dad, that helped me break that pattern, to see something better. And sometimes it could be a friend, sometimes it could be, another relative, or, maybe somebody you see on TV that can give you that aha moment. And if we can just see that we are so much more than we give ourselves credit for. Mike's always told me this one thing, and it's stuck with me. It's so powerful. Excuse me. That we are our own worst critic.
Hmm.
And it's so true. we hold ourselves to such a high standard sometimes. It's just we need to give ourselves grace. We need to give ourselves some space to be able to make mistakes, to be able to learn and grow, and to be able to make those changes.
Yeah. Yes. You are your own worst critic
Mhm.
in everything.
Yeah.
You know, let's go to when, of course, we're still, negative programming. It encompasses a lot.
Yeah.
So, how many did a New Year's resolution? And I was reading an article the other day or listening to somebody, and it said, let's not call them resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it, hey, I got a new goal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put another twist on it, because usually by the second week of February, most of the New Year's resolutions are gone. They're defunct. 80 to 90% of resolutions have to deal with physical fitness
Mm-hmm.
or some type of weight loss. I want to do this, I want to do that, but it comes down to some type of a fitness goal, and you force yourself into this goal. So, okay, man, January 2nd, because usually January 1st, depending on what was going on, it's a day off. You're kind of getting prepped. Maybe you're working through what you're probably out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, we'll just say that January 2nd, you get yourself set up. It's like, I am going to get back to the gym. I'm just going to get myself in shape. And you've looked at 80 different YouTube videos. I'm going to do this exercise, that exercise. I'm taking this supplement, that supplement. I'm going to eat this particular type of salmon, whatever it is. Then you force yourself to conform to that particular program that you have going on. And by the first, second week of February, you're frustrated. You haven't seen the results that you've wanted. So you say, I'm done. And that's why about 80% of New Year's resolutions actually fail.
Yeah.
Set up a goal. Once again, what is your goal? What do I want to do? And don't, back to the physical fitness thing. What worked for your neighbor or one of your coworkers might not work for you. Let me go on a tangent. Let me give you a quick example. So I had tried, all that kind of happened when I was in the Army. I was in the Army from 90 till 2001, back in the day. And I had tried to put on some size. I was like 160, 170 pounds, soaking wet. And I'm like, okay, I lifted weights. I did, you got this workout, that just like I talked about. Well, I'm going to do this kind of bench press, do this for my chest, do that. I'm going to all this other crap. And I really didn't put on any size. Like, it's just not working. So eventually, last duty station, I'm in Belgium, and I pull out this. It was an excerpt from a magazine. It was called Muscle Media 2000. The editors of the magazine started EAS, Experimental and Applied Sciences, back. I was like in the 90s, and they had like this little excerpt out of a book, and the book was Brawn, and it read, big arms, big chest, whatever. Like, you know what? Let me read this. It's maybe 20 pages. Let me read it. It was very comical to read. It was funny because it's from the perspective of a gym owner listening to some young guy coming in talking about, oh, Mr. Gorgeous does these and he does, 162,000 pull-ups and all that. And the guy's like, oh, my God, got to stop. So I'm reading. It was funny. And there's actually a magazine called it. There are people out there called hard gainers. I said, what you're doing isn't going to work. You have to get to a power routine because your DNA, whatever it is, it's harder for you to put on the size. You're a hard gainer. So saw the workout, did it, actually did to this day. I would still do it. Just got to get down to the gym.
We have to clean out.
Yeah, we got
to
get to the garage.
We
had
to our gym.
But anyway,
like most Americans.
Yeah, it's like, man, God, our garage is a mess. And then you drive around and other people's garage doors are open. You're like, oh,
Thank
ours.
God.
It's
not just us.
It all looks the same. So I did this program because I had it in my mind. I am never going to get the size. I am not going to do
Yeah.
this.
And you
It's
won't.
not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So said, you know what? I'm going to try this program. I'm going to give this a shot. I don't care what anybody thinks, but I'm going to do it. And lo and behold, that program worked wonders. I changed maybe like one or two exercises on it that I liked, but it was nothing but powerlifting. And that's all it was. And you add just a wee little bit of weight a week. Granted, Rome wasn't built in a day, so neither will you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I realized that, and then I started doing it and seeing the results, it was like, man, there must be something to this.
Yeah.
And I like the powerlifting style of it because, they'd said if, you got your workout on Monday, on Wednesday, if you're still kind of sore, don't do it because now you're ripping up your muscles even more after you've done it. You got to let them repair if you want to get the size on. So I kind of called it the lazy man's workout. I enjoyed it. But once again, I thought, you know what? I'm never going to get any size. All these other people are just genetically gifted. I won't be that way. And I proved myself wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. And it worked wonders. I mean, I had a couple people give me some tips on a couple exercises on how to utilize your body as far as like leverage and proper lifting and physics. So, yeah. Don't think that, you know what, I'm never going to be able to put on muscle mass. I'm always going to be stuck in this particular job. If you think you're going to be stuck in that particular job, then you will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is it that you really want to do? Granted, there's some people, they just enjoy doing what they do, and that's awesome. So if you want to move up, well, I'll never make it to a management position. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be up in a management position, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough time. I don't have enough this. I don't have enough that. They do. You're talking yourself out of improving yourself.
Well, and it's not. And with that being said, the pain is not bad enough for you yet, for you to make that forward movement, because you're really comfortable where you're at. Even though you're saying something different, you're not willing to take the steps to move forward to change that situation. Again, our minds like what's comfortable, and as Mike said, it's all about what you think. And this really is a great book, Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. She really kind of breaks it down for you. We have to stop. We have to stop with the everyday of what we don't want. We can change it. Our minds can change it. These athletes that you see that are top of their game, in our day, Michael Jordan, right? Dan Marino, depending on what sport you're looking at, but these guys had it set in their mind that they were going to be the best. Muhammad Ali, they had it set in their mind that they were going to be the best at what they did. Now, were they lazy? No. Were they out practicing all the time? Yes. But it was because that pain was bad enough for them. They knew they had that hunger. It started to create that hunger for what they truly wanted. So it made them fight harder for it. So what are you prioritizing in your life in place of what you really want? Is it more excuses like Mike said? Is it, well, that's not for me, that's for somebody else? Why? Is it just because you don't think you can do it?
You can do it.
Start like Mike said. I can't be this way. I can't be this way. But yes, he can. And he did get to that point. So what is it going what's pardon me, excuse me. What is it that's going to give you that switch change? Is it just saying it to yourself? Start telling yourself this every day, whatever it is that you want to strive for, whether it's to do what you want to do physically or to get that position. What is it, these small steps that are going to get you there? But before you do those small steps, you have to first tell yourself, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And then visual while you're saying that to yourself, visualize that you already have it.
Yeah, visualize it in the present tense.
Like you have it right now.
Like you've already done it. Like with the athletes, they do a lot of visualization. A lot of Olympic athletes. Example that was called when it comes to visualization, it was called, and you can look it up. It's a pretty decent read, but it was the Chicago free throw study, and I want to say it was back in the 80s, and it was I'm going to ruin his last name because I do it all the time. Dr. Blasio had done a study. He took 3 groups. He had Group A, Group B, and Group C. And he took them out to the basketball court. And he said, okay, right now, for like an hour, I want you to shoot free throws. That's all you're going to do. Group A, Group B, Group C. They shot their free throws. Okay? Took their average. Very good. This is what you made. Group A, every day for 30 days, I want you to practice free throws. Physically, you're on the court, ball in hand, and you are shooting baskets. Okay, perfect. Group B, I don't want you to do anything. Don't do jack. Don't touch a ball. Don't think about a ball. Don't do anything. Group C, all I want you to do is visualize. Take some time during the day. Sit and visualize standing there and shooting your free throw and making it. Visualize it. Every time you shoot the ball, you make the free throw. Perfect shot. Every time. Just visualize it. So they did this for 30 days. Well, they come back 30 days later, and Group A improved their free throws. Now, Group A was the one that they physically shot free throws. Group A improved their free throws by 24%. We already know what Group B did. They didn't improve really that much at all because they didn't do any kind of practicing of visualization. The kind of the control group, so to speak. Group C, who was told to do nothing but visualize making the free throws, improved their free throws by 23%. 1% less than the ones who actually held on to the ball. So that was pretty interesting. And there's a lot of athletes do visualization to get themselves mentally prepped, and it's very powerful. They've been doing it for decades. I mean, even back in the 60s in the Olympics, some of the high jumpers or pole vaulters would, I think it was Jim Thorpe was sitting there and he visualized, I want to say it was his pole vault, the record-breaking pole vault, and he sat and he visualized it. And it was, he got it. It's very, you'd be amazed at how powerful your mind really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And remember, the pain of the change goes away when the benefits arrive. And that was from Tom Hopkins.
That's very true.
The pain of the change goes away once the benefits start to arrive. So let's say you want to lift weights and you're working out, and then all of a sudden, about 3-4 weeks later, you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning like, wow. Because you are not going to see that back to your own worst critic. People around you are going to see the change in you. You aren't going to see it until you finally take a good look, because you see yourself every day.
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things to go, like, I don't see myself putting on that much until you realize, well, my shirts are tighter. Well, my pants are looser. I can't get my legs in my shorts because I've been doing so many, squats. Then you'll realize, like, wow, this actually is working. Like, oh, man, this is great. And then you get more positive. And then, man, now I look forward to doing this. Well, now I look forward to adding a little more weight. Or I look forward to, if you're wanting to set up your own business or you want to do some streaming, I'm going to set up my own account. I'm ready to go. I've got content saved. I am ready to knock it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's something else too is, we try to, like you said earlier, is we have these New Year's resolutions, right? So we're going to change everything right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's either all or nothing, right? And we get into this mode of, just craziness, really, guys, just craziness. But we don't realize by doing that, complete 180, it's actually hurting us, not helping us.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find little steps, little things that you can change for that healthier version of yourself, but what we call no resistance habits. So it's one of those where, like Mike said, you start doing these things and you're starting to see that improvement, which is phenomenal. But what else can you do to make those small little changes more meaningful? You're seeing those results. That's phenomenal. But you can't look at it as a diet, because when you hear the word diet, you just see all these commercials. You see all of these things that, take you back to those negative places. So find something positive. It's like, God, I hate salads. And it's like, you go out to eat, and it's one of those where, okay, I have a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can have this pizza,
Hell yeah,
or I can have a salad, right? It's like, everybody, of course, wants the pizza, right? But you can tell yourself, I'm choosing to eat this salad so that I can meet my goal. I'm choosing to do this. So you're starting to change that mental thought around it. Oh, okay. So we know we like pizza, but we're doing the salad, for this particular meal because we want to attain this goal.
Mm-hmm.
So take these small steps. And by doing something that small, by taking those little steps, you'll be able to change that mindset and make it non-resistant. Because if you try again to do all of it at one time,
Yeah.
it's going to be so overwhelming that you're just going to fall back into what's familiar. And that's what you want to change.
Which would be eating the pizza.
Which is eating the pizza.
Not that anything wrong with the pizza.
Yeah.
But so let's say you're at the restaurant. This is one example that was out there. You're out with your friends, and you have, like Tori had said, I know I need this salad. Everyone else is getting pizza and nachos. Someone down there is going to say, because I have, you're too good to have pizza with us. And they're going to try to bring you down. Well, I'm choosing to eat the salad. I need to eat the salad.
Yeah.
Let them dog you. Let them do whatever. Because you never know. You just might be motivating somebody else.
Yeah.
You could be that role model that you have no idea that you are for a couple other people. Like, well, Tori's been getting salads when we go out at lunch, and looks like she has a lot more energy. Let me just change that up a bit. Let me get a salad.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you might have other people following you and asking, hey, what else? What have you been doing? You look great. You have more energy. You may be inspiring other people around you just by making that one change. Is it going to be a pain because you'll get the ridicule and the criticism? Oh, you can't eat pizza anymore. You can't do this or that anymore. No, you can. I can. I could easily eat a large pizza.
I'm choosing not
but
to.
I'm choosing not to. And by doing that, you could be inspiring other people around you, whether it's your own family, coworkers, neighbors, something along those lines. And then there you go. You started that ball rolling to inspire some other people to have them change.
Exactly. Again, we're talking about negative programming, and it's such a vast topic
Hmm.
that, I mean, it deals with everything. It can deal with mental health, it can deal with physical health, it can deal with financial health, it can deal with everything that affects our lives. And for us to be aware of and become aware.
Sorry, I had to. I
So, if you know Joe Dispenza, you'll get that aware. It's just something
We'll do a meditation stream one
inside
time
joke,
and get
but
into, but it was
it's
anyway.
pretty funny. But it's one of those. I kind of lost track of what I was saying. Sorry, my
I'm
bad.
sorry.
But talking about negative programming and how it affects every aspect of our life, and if we can just be aware of, what's causing us to stay stuck or stay in the constant, to stay in the now. Everything around us is changing, and it's really interesting because as humans we fear change because our minds aren't set up that way. Our minds are there to protect us. It likes what's familiar. So when we try to deviate from what is familiar, our minds kind of challenge us a little bit to, hey, no, 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 go, let's go back because this is something new. But everything around us is changing, so we need to change, one, to reach those goals, because if you're staying in the constant, that you've always been in, and you have these goals that you want to reach, staying in the same place is not going to get you there.
Mm.
So it's one of those where you have to start changing that mindset. Again, changing your vocabulary. Can't is a weakening word. So, you know what? I understand right now I'm not where I want to be. So I am going to work to get where I want to be. Don't say this is hard. Say it's a challenge.
Mhm.
And it really does shift something in your mind to where, oh, this is hard. You've already put that brick wall in front of you. So it's by changing that vocabulary, you're able to start changing that perception to where you can. So it's really these small little things that we can do each and every day. We get those negative thoughts that come in because we have so many thoughts a day. Stop that thought. If that's not where you want to be, stop that thought. Just like, you know what? And like I said earlier, you have to talk to your mind like it's a person. You really do. And because it's set on a particular program, and sometimes we have to interrupt that pattern or program to go the direction we want to go in. And sometimes that can be really challenged, especially, being that we've been doing it for so long. Like with me, it was 30, 40 years that I had this particular thought. And to stop that ball from rolling and to change that direction, it does take a little time. But if you start changing that thought process here, boy, just imagine what you can do. I mean, it can really change, the direction you go.
And one thing to do, and you probably heard about it, we were told it was called mirror therapy,
Mm-hmm.
where you take a sticky note and write, put something positive on there. And you probably see it, whether you're watching, let's say, a show like American Idol or the great, British baking show, to where they'll put up on their mirror, I am a star baker.
Mm-hmm.
I am the next American Idol. I am this. I am that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that for you.
Yeah.
Put it up on the mirror. It don't matter. You can have a whole bunch of them and just put it up there. And then whenever you get up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, you see it. Anytime you're in, that particular area, you see it.
Yep.
Put it on the refrigerator. You put it, if you're driving to and from work, have it sitting off to the side and on your vehicle. Someone said, yeah, put it over there where the speedometer is. Like, no, let's not do that. I was like, yeah, no.
You need
Now,
to know how
granted,
fast you're going.
if the speed limit's 40 and traffic has you going 20, and you never really go above that, like here in the summertime,
Oh my goodness.
it's yeah, you could probably get away with that. But have it setting up in your car where you can You can see it. You're at a red light. You can look down. I am blah. I
Mhm.
am this.
Yeah.
I whatever is going to resonate with you,
Mhm.
not what one other person's affirmation might work for them. It might not be the one for you. Write down what it is for you, what you want. I am a business owner.
Yeah.
I am success. I am a manager. I am a full-time content creator. Whatever you want, write it down. And then the more you look at it, that's where, if you get man, I can't do that. And then you see it. I am a content creator. Okay, I am. And then you start thinking about, oh, I've done this video. I've done that video. Think about the content you've created. Don't think about, oh man, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. No, it's content. Put it out there. Someone's going to like it. Okay, so maybe 3 or 4 people only watched it. That's 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Who
Absolutely.
could have absolutely said, wow, this is, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and don't measure your success or your goals or your future using someone else's yardstick.
Yeah.
Use your own. As Tori said before, it's your journey,
Mhm.
not what someone else says. It is your journey and your journey alone.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, then we'd all just be cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Everything's the same. Everything works.
Mhm.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll be something that's going to work for you.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, and I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. We're this isn't where I was going, but we're only human. I mean, and everybody that's watching is only human.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it. If you can laugh at yourself, and just like, oh, whatever, just laugh it off. Laughter is truly the best medicine. If something's holding you back, or depression is so rampant, anxiety is so rampant, but if we can start changing those thoughts, to really transition away from that, it does take a little time, but like we said before, it's those small steps that will get you where you need to go. And it's changing that vocabulary, changing the thoughts. Those are the 2 key pieces to any transition from where you're at to something that you want to get to. And like Mike said, it's your own journey. You can it came to me. It's one of those, you can listen to everybody. Listen to what they say. If something resonates with you, it doesn't mean you have to do what everybody says. But if it resonates with you, then say, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to adopt this and test it out, because each and every person, sometimes it's not just one thing that helps. Sometimes it's a multitude of different things. These small steps that we can do, but usually different. Like Mike said, you have mirror therapy. You can do, changing that thought by just, changing the words that we use. That's, that could be something else. Maybe it's listening to a podcast. Maybe it's listening to or going, meditation. Maybe it's hypnotherapy. Maybe it's a combination of it all. Every person is different, but our same basic programming is the same. And once we learn why we have all that negative programming and why our minds do what they do, it with that understanding and that awareness, then we're able to make those changes that we want to make. It's really interesting because before we even became certified in everything that we're certified in,
We're certified.
we're certified in something, all right. But it's one of those where you hear people say it, but it never really registers, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, you can do anything you put your mind to. Yeah. Well, then you start learning and you start saying, holy crap. I mean, it's really true. But it's taking those small steps, and sometimes you need that guidance to get you there. And we hope that we're able to kind of help provide some of that guidance, to help with, changing that negative programming, because if we stay in that same pattern, we're not going to get where we want to be. But like Mike said, put down what your goals are. Where do you want to be? What do you want to be able to do? And by writing it down, it takes it from the mind and puts it in the physical world, because you've now placed it on a piece of paper. And as silly or stupid as that sounds, it really has a huge impact on our psyche and our mental capability. And for us to be able to do that, and then, okay, this is where I want to get. What are some of the small steps that I can do right now to help me get there? And again, we're going back to those non-resistance habits. So what can I do to take these small steps to start turning me into that direction that I want to go? And, all too often, like we said earlier, you get on those New Year's resolutions and it's like, we're changing everything now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. And we get overwhelmed, and it's so easy to do, but by taking those small steps, we're able to get there a lot faster. So we're hoping that this is helping in some way.
Yeah.
We like to talk.
Yes.
So we.
What comes down, for the whole body, you have your unconscious transformation and then your conscious transformation.
Yeah.
And that could be any kind of, maybe you're looking for a career change.
Yeah.
Your unconscious transformation is, you might be thinking, well, I need to have this. I got to have this, got to have this education, got to have that. Well, then you're going to get upset because, well, I don't have it. Kind of like this is where your resolutions come into play. Unconscious transformation.
Yeah.
I am going to, and we all do it, I am going to get this supplement, do this, do that, and I'm going to be huge. And then the second week of February, those of you who go to the gym and work out, you notice, because I first saw it when I was in Belgium. It's Shape Belgium. And I walk into the gym on January 2nd, and I could not get on a machine. There was I don't know, everybody in Europe had come to that gym. And I look at the gym manager, I'm like, where'd all these people come from? He goes, New Year's resolution. He goes, wait till the second week of February, you'll be able to have a pin drop in here. I was like, okay. So I had to change the time of day I went and worked out, which was fine. But lo and behold, second week of February, it was back to business as usual. Go walking in there, and there was nobody. Because, well, I'm not getting the change that I wanted. So there you go. We go now, conscious transformation.
Yeah.
What's my goal? What do I want to do? As Tori was saying, write it down, no matter how small it is. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yeah.
So take that one step. Oh, well, then what's the next step?
Yeah.
Oh, then what's the next? You may, as you write down the steps, you may already have some of these in place.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just, implement them. An idea is just an idea until you actually take action on it.
Yep. Knowledge is phenomenal to have.
Yeah.
But if you don't utilize it and implement it, it's just knowledge. So, don't allow your fear to hold you back. The fear of the unknown, and it's that's with anything. If we don't understand something, then a lot of times it creates uneasiness, maybe not necessarily fear, but uneasiness. But if we educate ourselves on whatever it is, then we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's not as bad as I thought it was. And you can look at anything in history and see that, it stemmed from fear.
What's on the other side of fear? Success.
Exactly. I know Will Smith did a video that was really phenomenal. And he was going skydiving. And he's like, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But he said the other side of fear, he goes, it was amazing. He goes, it really was truly amazing. He goes, but it was the fact that I had to get on the other side of it. I'm sure it's on YouTube, but it truly was a powerful video. And it's true about anything, though. I mean, if we have a fear of anything, it's usually the unknown. But if we can just get past that, and have that aha, or just to see how beautiful it is on the other side of that. It's truly amazing. And we've got some little cards here that we made up, and just to kind of talk about, how can we change that negative programming, right, that we're used to. Use better words to dialogue with your mind, like I have a choice, or I am choosing to do something.
Mhm.
So vocabulary is huge. If you say stuff's hard, I can't do this, these are all weakening words. But if you put it in a different perspective, I'm choosing to do this, or I have a choice. Excuse me, you're giving yourself power. You're giving yourself your power back. And then you can be more aware. Oh, am I making an excuse just because I'm being lazy? Or I just have that fear of, what am I going to, what am I going to run into, you know, in that path to get to where I want to be? So you're choosing to do it, or you have that choice. Um, so first you make your belief and that thought process, then your belief makes you. Well, what does that mean? If you think it, it becomes true. And that's where we were talking about, creative visualization. And this book with Shakti Gawain it really is a powerful book. I mean, she wrote it back in the 70s, and then she revised it, I think in 2010, I think it was the 40th anniversary. But it's really powerful, and the law of attraction, which I'm sure most of us have heard. But it's one of those, if you can just change that belief, change that thought that you have, like Mike said, oh, I can't do this. No, I can do this. I can, and I will, or I
Mhm.
can and I have. And when you start getting into creative visualization, you do it as the present, like, you see yourself with all of that right now. So first you make your belief, and then your beliefs make you. So that's huge. And then, of course, how the mind learns. Well, it learns by repetition. So Mike said earlier,
21 days.
yeah, it's usually 21 days. You hear 14 and all that. I mean, we all learn differently. But the average is going to be 21 days. Some could be longer, some could be less, but 21's kind of that happy medium, that average. And like Mike said earlier, we have 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day. 85% of those are negative, and out of those 85%, 90% of that is repetition. So it's constantly running in our mind. So if we can change those beliefs and thoughts, then it's going to put it into our life as a different belief or thought. So repetition is huge, because that's how we learn. Some of us are visual learners, some of us are audio learners. We learn better through audio, or was it kinetic,
Autokinetic.
where we do it physically.
Yep.
You have to, by physically doing it. I learn best by all three. I have to be doing it, reading it, hearing it. It's just like, that's just the type of learner that I am. And it's truly um understanding how you learn best.
Mhm.
But, keep telling yourself that. Don't just tell yourself once or twice. It's like we said earlier. You can't just expect to do it once and everything be fine. It's something that you have to continuously do. Be consistent with it. It's not difficult, but we have to be consistent. And that's something that I struggle with. It's a challenge for me to be consistent, but that's something that I work on every day. Again, it's something we have to work on. So, and then, what is the greatest fear in the world for most of us is being different. But that's okay. I don't want to be the same as somebody else. I'm a Tory, but I don't want to be like Tori Spelling, or, some of the, I know there's a few other, Tori Kelly, or, any of these other people. I want to be my own version of Tori,
Mhm.
And Mike. There's a million Mikes out there, but this is the only one of this Mike. So it's okay to be different. It's all right to, be quirky. It makes you interesting.
Mhm.
It makes people it draws people to you. And, your energy and your vibe and is a big part of that. And, don't change just because somebody says, oh, you know what? They're not your people. They're
Yeah.
just not your people. We don't have to be liked by everybody. I don't want to be liked by everybody. There are certain people that I just, I great for them that they feel the way they feel, but
Mhm.
they just don't give me that vibe that I want to be around. And it's okay to set those boundaries. It really is. And
Set them.
yes, set them. And by putting yourself in groups of people that really speak to you, really vibe with you, that helps with negative programming as well, because now you have that support to kind of lift you up. All too often we stay in groups of people that really just bring us down, like Mike said earlier. And it's one of those where it's like they're not providing value to you. You might be providing value to them, and they see that value that you have, but they don't want to see you succeed, so they're going to hold you back and keep you, because they want to keep you in that little circle. So, we just need to become more aware of everything around us, and really decide what's, one, what we want to be and do, and what's going to be healthy for us, because not every relationship
Mhm.
is healthy. And if we can see that, but I feel bad, don't feel bad. No, this is for you.
And that's what'll keep you kind of stuck in the
Yeah.
status quo. Your own truths and beliefs will keep you stuck there.
Yeah.
You won't be able to actually move forward
Mhm.
because, well,
I don't want to be mean.
I don't want to be mean. I'm comfortable right where I'm at. Keyword comfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
Nothing good came from comfort zones.
Exactly. Not saying that, I got to step out of my comfort zone, but with both feet just jump right into
No.
the fire.
No.
No, you can do a little here and a little there. You'll feel a little bit uncomfortable, but then you'll eventually, it'll become second nature. Oh,
Mhm.
I'll do this. Well, wow, I made it through that. Now I'll do this. Well, this is my next step.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, you're completely out of your comfort zone, and you've,
Yeah.
succeeded by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. Absolutely. And where's everybody else? Still in the same spot that they were at, complaining.
Yeah.
That they're still stuck where they're at because they didn't want to take that chance on themselves. And invest in yourself. Educate yourself. Read a book. Do some research.
Mhm.
If we learn something new every day, that's growth. Even if it's even if it's inconvenient. What are you willing to give up to grow
Yeah.
and be better? Is it 15 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe a full day? What are you willing to give up to better yourself? It's ultimately your decision.
Mhm.
Are you happy where you're at? Constantly in that negative program?
Do you feel that if you stayed in the exact same situation you are right now, but yet you have a goal, I want to achieve this, but if you don't do anything, you just keep the same
Yeah.
for the next 3 months, where do you think you're going to be?
Yeah.
What would be the cost of inaction?
Yeah.
Well, I want to achieve this. I want to really bad, in the next 3 months. Well, what are you going to do to get there? I don't know if I can do that. Well,
Yeah.
do it. Take that step. Find out. Expand. I want to say kind of expand your circle, but yet constrict your circle.
Not necessarily expand the circle, improve your circle.
That's it. Yes.
Improve that circle.
Improve your circle.
It's when you surround yourself by people that are doing what you want to do, that constant focus and seeing their daily, habits and activities and things like that, you see that and you're like, okay, that's what I need to do. That's what I, to get me to that place where they're at. And something is, you can't judge yourself for them, because I love this. Their chapter 12, you can't judge their chapter 12 to your chapter 1.
Exactly.
We all have to get to that point. Some of us, it takes longer, others not so much. But it's one of those, we can't, like Mike said, you can't judge yourself by the same measuring stick, because everybody's situations are different. Everybody's experiences are different. So our learning is different. But if you can surround yourself, again, with the law of attraction, you surround yourself with people, like-minded people that are doing what you want to do, you're going to get there a lot faster.
Like I said, if you hang out with 4 millionaires, you are going to become the 5th.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you hang out with 4 successful business owners, you will become the 5th.
Yep.
Because you've improved your circle. And you want to, when it talk about improvement, you want to improve it with people who want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Not your doubting Thomases. I wouldn't do that. You're wasting your time. That's not doing you any good. Hey, maybe that'd be someone you hang out with and grill, but when it comes to your goals, find the ones who really want to help you and want to see you succeed. They may not even be in the same career field as you.
Yeah.
But it's just something about that particular person and, them giving you that positivity. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, that sounds great. Hey, I've been watching your gaming channel. Awesome. I love it. I've told some of my friends who have, some of their kids game. They're gamers. And I said, hey, watch this one. This one's actually pretty good. Those are the ones that you want to surround yourself with, who want to see you succeed.
Absolutely. Because they're gonna be there to support you, and that's something that we found. We have a few family members, but when you're looking at family and friends, sometimes you just can't count on them to give you that boost, to provide that support. We were fortunate to where we do have a couple that do,
Yes.
But it's one of those, sometimes you just have to distance yourself. Somebody said the other day, love from a distance, love them from a distance. Because if they're not providing value to you, you need to have that boundary and keep them at a distance, keep them outside the circle. It's funny. Somebody had made a comment, it's like somebody asked me, well, how many people do you know? I'm like, well, I know a crap ton, but the ones that provide me value, there's very few. They know who they are.
Yeah, what was the one saying? I don't take criticism from someone I don't take advice from.
Correct.
Which comes down to,
Yeah.
if they're gonna dog you because of your dream, don't take criticism from. Would you actually take advice from them?
Yeah.
Probably not. But
And
don't
if
let
you
them
you
keep
might want to start taking advice from
dragging you
somebody
down.
else.
Take advice from somebody else.
Yeah.
And then there's some gurus out there who they will actually put you in they call it motivation, but from sitting and watching some of them, I'm like, wow, you just
berated
berated
individuals.
people, and then the people you berate turn around and then they berate everybody else. It's like, man, I'm surprised you haven't gotten knocked the fuck out in public, if you'll pardon me. Because if you'd come on and talk to me like that, you'd be drinking through a damn straw. But it's just, oh my gosh, that whole, I've watched a couple, and of course I looked them up.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do some of you guys get off on?
Well, and there's a difference
people
between
useless. It's like,
and there's a difference between teaching someone and berating someone.
Yes.
Or trying to make them see they need to change so that they can reach those goals. There's a difference between, just being nasty with somebody and teaching somebody to change. There's a big difference. It's like, oh well, we hear this quite a bit. You got to be coachable. You got to be coachable. Yeah. Well, you do. You
Yeah.
have to be open minded to look at a different way. But if you bring that to someone in a negative way, that is very berating and negative, you're going to shut them off,
Mhm.
and they're not going to want to learn.
Bullying
Yeah.
and condescension are not leadership styles.
No. Well, that's just how they lead.
No.
That's not a leader.
No.
That's not a leader. So
Mm.
it's one of those to really look at those surroundings and see what's healthy for you. And we're not saying that if you take something the wrong way, or if somebody says something the wrong way, that's a bad individual, or that you're bad for taking it wrong. Again, because it's all about perception. But at the same time, we need to be civil with one another, and it's one of those where, find somebody else. If you don't get the warm and fuzzy from that person, and you don't get a good vibe from them, they don't motivate you,
Mhm.
then they're not your person.
Positively motivate you, not
Yeah.
negatively motivate you. I mean, and there is such a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it does. Teams work a lot better when you have, you positively motivate each other.
Yeah.
Instead of, you start bringing someone down, well, then you've created that negativity within the team or within your group, and then now everyone's going to start complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but it's one of those, we really just need to be aware of what we want, and then we can start to see, okay, well, what steps do I need to take to get there? And by changing that negative programming, that's going to be the first step.
Yeah.
Like we said before, each person, each individual are different. All of our experiences are different. Even if we lived in the same town, went through the same exact things, our experiences are still going to be different.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's perfectly okay, because we're individual people. We're not meant to be the same. And when we start to see that and become aware of that, and, understand that we deserve everything that we desire, I mean, obviously within reason, you don't want to hurt somebody in the
True.
process. You know what I'm saying? That kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But you deserve everything that you set your mind to. But we have to make these little changes to get us on the right path. So,
Yeah. We'll go back to it. What is your goal? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And then what is holding you back from that? Well, I can't do this because of, okay, let's switch it around.
mhm.
In order to get this, I need to do 1, 2, and 3.
And I will do one.
And
2,
I will
3.
do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Pardon us, our phone's ringing.
Yes. Sorry about that.
There we go.
Pardon.
Here we go. We'll give them a call back.
Yes.
So, but it's one of those where, again, it's an easy process. We just have to be consistent.
Mhm.
And
You're right. That's the key. It is easy to do. You just got to be consistent, and consistency. Because you can easily get thrown off track because you get discouraged
or distracted, which is something that I work on every day. My consistency, my distractions, because it's, especially like you're getting into something, you're, maybe it's work, you're doing something and you're in a groove, you're like, yes, and then something happens, and either something else came in to, lead you in another direction. Hey, we got to take care of this right now. Or, it's one of those, how quickly can we get ourselves back on track and back on focus? Because focus is big.
Mhm.
Not saying that you have to, you have to have blinders on, but it's learning to, redirect that focus as well.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So,
Not go down the 1,000 rabbit holes,
mhm.
where you go, oh, shit, that email. Oh, I got to do this, got to do that. And then 3 hours later, you finally come back to what was I originally doing? Like, oh, man.
And then it's so hard to, or it's a
And then
challenge
get
to
yourself, back into
get
that
back into
groove.
that. Yeah. So it's how can you make those transitions easier for yourself as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's, again, what is your focus? What is your goal? Is it learning how to focus better? Is it learning how to take those distractions and to be able to transition,
Hmm.
easier from them? It's, because we've been, what was it? Steve Jobs had made a comment. Let me see if I can find it real quick because I do like this. In the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, which is good, is about a meditation. But it was talking about Steve Jobs, and this was a quote from him. And it said, "When you grow up, you tend to hold. When you grow up, you tend to get a hold, or get told, excuse me, that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside that world. Try not to bash into walls too much. Try to have a nice family life. Have fun. Save money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. That is, everything around you that you call life is made up by people no smarter than you, right? And then I'll finish off with you can change it, you can influence it. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. But what I want to focus on here is everything around you that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. Why are, things are passed from generation to generation. Well, why is that? Because nobody's changed it. It's nice to have traditions. Um, it's nice to have, oh, well, this is how my parents did it. Okay, but is it practical for you today? Times change,
Mhm.
and sometimes we have to have that life change too. I mean, 50s were much different than they are today. So much has changed in the world since the 50s, and that's a good thing. Change is part of life. So why would we want to keep that same thought process on how to live that life?
And it's like, well, everyone in my family's been an accountant, so I have to be an accountant. What if you don't want to be an accountant? Well, if I don't become an accountant, then I'm going to upset my family. Well, then what's this is where you got to kind of weigh it. Well, do I upset my family
And
so
be
that
miserable.
I can do what I want to do, whatever career field I'm in,
Mhm.
or do I make them happy and be stuck in a career that I just really don't care about?
Yeah.
How long? I mean, we've seen people change careers,
Multiple
after
times.
15 years or, a few times. It's like, well,
Mhm.
wow, man, you were, doing this. And then I mean, complete changes. Like,
Mhm.
it's just something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
This, I did it. It wasn't for me. Was I successful? Yes. But in the morning when I woke up, I wasn't happy going into work.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
the career change.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
So again, just kind of recapping what we've talked about so far is, you know, changing those thoughts and beliefs and, setting boundaries
Hmm.
because that's going to be, just for your own mental health. I mean, you can't, some of us try to do everything for everybody, and that's okay. But when do you refill yourself?
Yes. Are you a people pleaser?
At some point, you're going to have to recharge because when your battery's low and you want to help everyone, which is phenomenal, but you have to help yourself too.
Hmm.
You have to give back to yourself so that you can help other people.
Yeah.
And if you can change that perspective is huge. If you can change that perspective, knowing that if you give yourself that space and time and care, Self-care is not selfish.
Nope.
You're able to give more. And, Mike and I love instructing, we love teaching, we love, supporting people. And, there's nothing better than seeing a person or an individual succeed. And, we'll be your cheerleader. We have no problem. We love to see people succeed. And it's really unfortunate. We've been in business. This will be our 3rd year. And, to see how some other businesses are in that, oh, well, you're just competition. I don't care. You have success. I'll be happy to support that and promote that, in any way possible. But it's one of those too. If you don't get it in return, it's one of those. They're not your people. Same thing in life and personal life. If you're willing to give and give and give to people, support them, and they don't do it in return, are they providing value to you like you are to them? And if they don't really, if you're not a second thought in their mind, are they really worth your circle? Are they really worth your attention? Because maybe there might be somebody out there who's waiting for you to show up.
Yep.
That they're waiting for you to be that cheerleader for them and them support you. So it's one of those, we really have to change that perspective. And, again, you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself that space to be able to refill and recharge so that you can give to others. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think that is all for us today. We appreciate Mr. Local Fidel for joining our chat. We hope you got something from this, and anybody that watches it afterwards. We believe we're going to start doing these Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. Anywhere between 8:30 we'll be on. We do have a website and all of that, which is Complete Holistic Coaching and Wellness. We want to provide support and education. Again, we did a kind of get to know us video on Monday. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that one out. But we hope to make these entertaining and really kind of give you, like I said, go deep or go home. Sometimes we just need to hear it straight up, and you might not like it, and that's okay. You can, tell us in the chat. But sometimes we need to hear the hard truths. We're taught a lot to, stay the course, and we have to just kind of grit and bear it and continue forward. But that's really not the best or healthiest for us. So we want to educate and show you it's okay. You need to do what's best for you, even if it upsets other people. I'm not saying be rude or crude, but you have to do what's best for you.
Yes.
So we hope that we can help provide some information for you on those topics. And if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, definitely reach out to us. We'd be happy to do it. Even if we're on a stream and, you have questions, please reach out to us. We'll definitely answer them as we see them pop up in the chat. So, Mike,
absolutely.
Else?
No, but I think that's it.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you have an amazing, phenomenal Wednesday. Halfway through the week already. It's going by fast. Oh my gosh, halfway through January already. So it's crazy. But hey, we keep, we don't panic, we pivot, and we keep moving forward.
Yep.
So we hope that you see that as well. And hopefully we can change perspectives and see that you are worth every goal that you set for yourself. You deserve it. And we hope to help get you to that point. So we look forward to seeing you on Friday. So we hope you guys take care, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.